Wow, I have so many thoughts, but my first one is Theo doesn't get to answer questions. Man of the year, man of the year, man of the year. Welcome to the #1 friendship podcast in the country. I'm Matt Ritter.
I'm Aaron Karo.
Karo, I did something shameful recently.
I mean, that could be any number of things.
I know. This time it was...
You do live a very shameful life.
I do. I do. This one was Denny's.
Denny's?
Yeah, Denny's.
Oh.
Is that not shameful?
I mean, the bar for you is subterranean.
Oh, you thought it was going to be worse.
Yeah. Denny's.
Yeah.
I love Denny's.
You
Grand
do?
Slam breakfast.
Yeah. Jess said she's never had Denny's. No, maybe not Jess. Somebody I talked to said they never had Denny's. I was like, wow, you really never lived that blue collar life.
Where's there a Denny's?
There's two of them. There's one in Hollywood. There's one on Wester. There's one on Wilshire. There's a lot.
What were you doing?
I had a Grand Slam breakfast.
Just for fun?
No, it was after we went out. Late night.
Okay.
Yeah, low life.
You went by yourself?
Yeah, Miller low life.
You drove?
No, I took an Uber.
Oh, you mean a late night?
Yeah.
Late night you had breakfast?
Yeah. Yeah, it's shameful.
It is pretty shameful.
Yeah. But anyway, it started making me think about shame as a topic in friendship. I feel like nobody really ever talks about that. And we haven't really talked about our whole sort of journey to LA. And one thing I was thinking about was, I was a lawyer and I was making a lot of money. And then I moved out here and I had no game plan. And I went from making a lot of money to being like dead broke. And it was at a time where a lot of my friends were getting married and like their careers were thriving. And I started to withdraw. And I started to realize now looking back, I didn't need to do that. And I think it was partly like I felt like ashamed of where I was in life. And I withdrew from a lot of friendships. And now I'm just looking back and I feel like that's silly. And I wanted to kind of talk about that as a topic because I feel like a lot of times people withdraw from friendships and you never really know why because they never communicate. And I think a lot of it is shame.
Can you talk a little bit more about what that meant to withdraw? Like not calling people back?
Yeah. In a lot of ways. So definitely not calling people back, not calling people. Right. Not like wanting to be a burden on people. I think that's a huge one. I think a lot of times when people, and we talk about how sometimes it's a red flag when people are constantly harping.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need people, right? And if you don't communicate that, then you're just sitting in this kind of like isolation chamber of sorrow and then not showing up for things. Now, this was partially, some of it was monetary. Like I wasn't in a position where it was easy for me to fly to a wedding somewhere.
Yeah.
So I skipped out on some of those. But the other part, and this is the part I want to talk about for this pod, is I withdrew from showing up in person because I didn't feel like I wanted to talk about what was going on in my life.
What did you say? Isolation chamber of sorrow?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So I feel like a lot of people sometimes just are having issues with their self-worth. And the way that shows up is them withdrawing.
Right.
From their friendships. So when you don't feel great about yourself, sometimes you don't want to be around people, even your friends, because ultimately they will hit a nerve, whether they're wanting to do it or not, because you're just not feeling great about this or that. So for me, it was as simple as, and we get this a lot in entertainment, I'm sure you could speak to this, of like, I didn't have the success I wanted. I didn't have anything going on really on my entertainment career when I got here, of just like struggling with stand-up, like doing open mics, like not making any money. So then like the second somebody goes, hey, what are you up to? You feel like shit. And you're like, why did I even bother coming out?
Yeah. There's embarrassment, there's shame, depression, again, the monetary factor. And I think the entertainment aspect of it is analogous to people doing anything that involves off the beaten path. Yeah. Like I have a couple of buddies, sort of secondary buddies, who did startups.
Yes. Right. Exactly. This isn't unique to entertainment. You're totally, I agree. I want to broaden this out because I think everybody goes through this who has a sort of life change or just like a down moment.
Yeah. And you're isolated. You are doing
isolation chamber of sorrow.
The isolation chamber of sorrow. You're doing something people don't understand.
Yes. That's a big, I want to stop there for a second. A lot of times I feel this today, even that people who aren't in entertainment don't understand what I do. My family doesn't get it. My friends don't get it. And that sometimes just becomes frustrating. You feel defensive. You feel they're being dismissive. And I actually think they're not doing any of those things.
Oh, they're definitely not doing any of those things.
Yeah. They just don't get it. And that's
right.
Because like you don't understand what two doctors are talking about when they're in the nitty gritty.
But at least you can understand, I had a surgery, the guy died.
Right.
Bad.
Or like, hey, I got promoted at this job.
Yes.
And if it's sometimes it's a little esoteric in certain businesses where it's like, well, yeah, I had a good meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a good lunch.
Yeah.
You're like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And that's you projecting a little bit of your own insecurities onto people who are really there for you and trying to support you and wanting to be your friend. So I wanted to talk about on this episode, how to get over withdrawing, or how do you get over feeling shame when it's not necessarily warranted. And even if it is warranted, that doesn't mean you shouldn't have friends.
And we should also remember to talk about coming from the other side.
How to deal with people who are going through the
exactly. Let's start with some real basic 101, which is why shouldn't you withdraw from your friends if you're not feeling up for it?
Well, it only makes it worse. I can say from experience.
Okay.
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Like withdrawing and just saying, oh, I'm just going to not hang out with these people because I just don't want to have to explain myself stuff.
Yeah.
Then you're just home alone, feeling lonely. And we know that it's not good for your health to be lonely and isolated. But secondly, I just think you want to have people to talk through what you're going through. Right. And life has ups and downs and everybody has them. The most successful people want to talk to you when they're going through stuff. Right. And so you should assume that they're going to want to be there for you. I think you should give your friends more credit. I think by withdrawing, you're not giving your friends a chance to show up.
I mean, we're literally talking about the definition of friends now.
Yeah.
Times are tough.
Yeah. But I think you're not giving them the chance. Now you're actually being a bad friend by withdrawing in some ways because you're not giving them a chance.
Well, it's not victim blame here.
No, I know, but I am. I am blaming myself because
I
I didn't give my friends a chance to. Also, I didn't communicate that I was going through a lot.
Because your friends are
not mind readers.
But that's tough. I mean,
this is a tough topic. This episode is tough. I said that to you before we did this episode. I'm like, I've really been wanting to do this episode for a long time, but I just wanted to wait to really kind of.
And I was like, what's that sound? You're like, I'm eating fucking Denny's.
Yeah, I'm eating Denny's. I want to wait till I do something shameful. So it's very fresh at the top of my mind.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, I really relate to all of that. Also, I am just someone when anything is going not great, I'm a withdrawing kind of guy.
Okay.
Which is, I don't know if we ever talked about this. You're a lot better at this. Like you want to talk things out. You want to leverage your friendships, literally what they're there for. I kind of don't want to talk like.
But this is new for me. I feel like
great.
I feel like my first few years in LA was very much withdrawn. But I want to hear more about you.
I don't know. I tend to like to wallow in it.
Yeah. The isolation chamber of sadness.
Is it sadness or sorrow?
Sorrow.
Okay. Isolation chamber of sorrow. And I don't know why, because I am a pretty gregarious person with a lot of friends. But, if things aren't going, I mean, I guess this is literally what you're describing. I do sort of withdraw.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want to talk about it.
I know.
Yeah.
But is that okay?
Eventually, and shortly thereafter, I will reach out to some inner circle usually, or they will probably reach out to me.
Yeah. Here's what I think too.
This is also, your withdrawal was like years long.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call it your blue period.
Yeah, my Ritter's blue period. Yeah, but you've had some, withdrawal periods too.
Blue, la ba dee,
So I actually can say this to you. Like I've had moments early on in my moving here where I actually felt like I'd be with you and we'd be with other people and you were already working and they were working and I wasn't working. And I just felt like embarrassed / I don't want to you're in a conversation and I want to slowly back away and become
Homer
invisible
into the bush
like Homer.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to combat. I still don't know how to combat that fully. So I want to say to the audience, I don't know fully how to combat that feeling of inadequacy when you're if it's a career or whatever it is, where you don't feel like you have the things that people are talking about, or everybody else in your circle is married and you're not married.
Yeah.
Like I still don't totally know how to combat that, but I know that withdrawing isn't the answer.
What's interesting is that when we'd be out, this is 10, 15 years ago, I never even picked up on any of that because you put on a pretty good face.
Yeah. Like you'd be talking about your agents. I didn't have an agent, like agents matter, like the thing, like that thing of like, God, I hope nobody asks me who my agent is.
Right.
That's the moment. I know a lot of people feel that of like, I hope they don't ask me what I do. I don't have a job. I hope nobody asks me who my partner is. I don't have a partner. Right.
Right.
And so what? You're not worthy of being out. Like that's what I want to say to the audience. Like you're worthy of being out. You're worthy of being part of a friend group. Like you're not just whatever is going on in your life at that moment, right? You're not just, I have a job, I don't have a job, I got the promotion, I didn't get the promotion. You're not just, the ups and downs of your career, right? Like you are valued to your friends for many other reasons. And I think I just want people to remember that.
What do you think? I read something in some sort of self-help book once that you shouldn't refer to your occupation as who you are.
Yeah.
Instead of saying I'm a writer, you say I write.
Yes. I do like that.
Yeah.
I do like that because we do get wrapped up in that. And I think there was maybe it was Emily Post, what's that book?
Manners.
Yeah. What's Emily Post Table Manners? I don't know. Thelonious, please look that up.
Yeah.
So Emily Post and Carnegie and all these things, I think conversationally, you're not supposed to lead with that or introduce people by their occupation because it kind of makes people feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, I just had a date where she was like, I try not to ask any work stuff on the first date.
Deliberately. You were like, I'm not going to ask. Is that your new thing?
No, that's what she said.
Oh, I like it. Yeah. I like this person.
Yeah. But I mean, that's my most fun shit.
I know, but
I brought up the podcast.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. Yeah, of course. I'm dropping the pod.
You know what I say? I say, I'm a writer, I'm an author, I'm a comedian. And I go, and because it's legally required, I have a podcast.
Nice.
And they go, what's your podcast? And I tell them I love it.
I would be like, do you listen to podcasts? Or no, I would start off like, oh man, I listened to this great podcast.
Did you bring up your own podcast? Yeah.
It's my own.
Yeah, but that is, listen, help me broaden this out because our lives are our jobs.
I think a lot of people's lives are their jobs.
If you're a lawyer.
Yes, your life is that. I think if you're a doctor, your life is that.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are wrapped up in that.
That's fair.
And so if you don't feel proud of that.
Yeah.
A lot of times you're doing something you don't feel proud of, right? A lot of us just have jobs we're not happy in, right? And
Theo.
he's stuck in the shadows.
He's talking more and more. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. So I just want to talk about that more.
Yeah.
A lot of people are in situations that they're not satisfied in work-wise. They're not doing, I wasn't happy being a lawyer.
Yeah.
Should I have not ever gone out then? It's I could have also been ashamed then. But I was out then and being social.
You could be ashamed at any point in your life.
Right, but that's what's funny. I should have been ashamed then.
Yeah, right. You should be more ashamed.
I should have been more ashamed doing something that I didn't love.
Right.
Instead of coming out here, not making any money, but at least going for it, at least doing the thing that I loved. I should have been proud of that. I should have been making friends. And then the first 5 years, I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody.
So what do we think is a good best practice for letting one friend know? Because we'll get into a listener question in another episode, but I was recently helping someone with a friendship issue and with a whole group. And I was like, listen, you got to just talk, because everyone's got that one friend who's the most caring, the nicest. I'm like, just talk to Lisa and then figure it out.
I agree with that. Certain friends are better for you to talk through that.
Yeah.
The other part is just the withdrawing. If we're talking about separate elements of it, the conversational element of it, when we're saying you're not your job, there's other things you could be excited about in your life that are not work related, that are not money related.
Yeah.
You just discovered a new TV show. You just read a new book. You can talk about any of that stuff. But with your friends, you should be able to just go to your friend's house and hang out, and it doesn't have to be about anything. We talked about the low key hang.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't have a lot of money and it's I can't go out to dinner with my friends, then you should suggest a low key hang that doesn't cost anything.
Right. It's in Half Baked when he goes on the date and they just walk.
Ding, the money.
He gets a hot dog.
Oh God. Yeah.
Hot dog. But you think that our friend who is withdrawn should,
well, nobody's a mind reader. So again.
Right.
if you're withdrawing and, a lot of times people just aren't picking up on it, or they think you're like not wanting to be friends with them.
Yeah.
Right. Again, a lot of the things that lead to friendships, not just dissolving, just being strained are misunderstandings. These simple misunderstandings of motivation for not calling you, right? You may think my motivation for not calling you is I just, I don't want to hang out with you. There's other people I can hang out with, when it's really like, oh man, when we go out, I feel embarrassed. I don't have an agent. I don't have a job. I'm unemployed. I don't have a lot of money. I don't want to go to this restaurant that's, so I'm just not going to go out. I'm not going to call you.
Right. What do you think a friend who is withdrawn should say to a buddy if they want to let him know, hey, I'm in a little bit of a bad spot?
Yeah. I like the I'm in a little bit of a funk.
I like that.
I've always liked that one because it doesn't say like, you got to call 911.
Right.
But it does say
there is a new
311, 611.
No, there's a new mental health one. Jesus,
we should know.
Let's
post it.
Someone's gonna have a suicide watch,
and it's taking out their garbage. It's like, I have this extra baby toy.
I think it's.
Whoops.
Theo will look it up. I think it's
Don't call 311 if you have a real crisis.
I love funk. I'm in a funk. I love that
because I think it says what you want it to say. And again, with me, I come from this place of like I was hard shelled and now I've loosened, but I acknowledge a lot of people in that hard shell, and saying I'm in a funk feels easier.
Yeah.
Then like, hey, I really could use your help, or people get it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the other thing is like
that's all you have to do is say, I'm in a funk. Could you come over? Or could we go take a walk? I think walks are really good.
You know what it's called when you just say what you're feeling real quick? It's the cold plunge of friendship.
Cold plunge
from
of
our
friendship.
friend Justin Baldoni.
Yes.
Just blurt it out and then you'll deal with it. Because most of the other friends will be like, oh, and they'll be like, oh, let's chat. Yeah.
And you may find they didn't even realize that.
I'm sure they didn't.
This, yeah.
So I didn't even know. You're telling me this. Yeah.
I like the combo. I'm in a funk.
Yeah.
Let's take a walk.
Yeah.
Or low key hang.
Or if they're already hanging out, you can bring it up.
Yes. Yes.
At halftime.
Yeah.
I always give such very heteronormative examples.
At halftime.
Go watch the game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you don't want to do it in a big group, I think. It's like.
Yeah. Better to isolate one friend.
Yeah.
But you're just going to say, so I'm in a bit of a funk. Work hasn't been great, or I can't find a new job. I think what's the next sentence? Is it like, I just wanted to let you know?
Yeah. Well, so I think you want to let them know that you're feeling uncomfortable when you go do certain things.
Okay.
Because I think that's part of you're withdrawing from situations, right? You're withdrawing from a situation where you have to talk about your job. So you may want to give them the task of like, it's almost like when somebody passes away and they don't want to talk about it. Right? Or they broke up with somebody, they're going through a divorce. Like, you want that friend to spread that message. Like, you're very good at spreading the message as our friend group. Like, you're the person who does that.
Yeah.
So I think you find your Karo and have them spread the message of like, he doesn't really want to talk about work. He doesn't have a job. Like, don't bring it up. And then that makes it easier for you and you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to withdraw. You can still go out and feel good about yourself and remember why you have all these friends who love you and care about you, and remember that you have a lot more to offer because the conversation isn't going to be about that.
So let's swap it. You're a friend. Your friend is withdrawing from you.
Number one, check in.
Hey man, haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah. Is everything okay?
Yeah. Not even is everything okay.
Yeah.
Just like, cause sometimes people or whatever, include them, invite them.
Yeah. Yeah. Check in.
Use your discretion. You're saying I'm good at disseminating the information.
You're also very discreet about this. You know whether to share with who.
When I was like, Matt's wife is at 7 centimeters, everybody.
6. She never got past 6. Never got past 6.
Telling the other people in the group, hey, Jimmy's going through something, or like, let's take him out. I've had that happen a few times in my day. One of the other guys in the group was like, hey, so-and-so's, let's just have dinner and hang out and whatever,
I think sometimes there is a time for just one-on-one hangs or smaller hangs in your life when you're not feeling great about yourself. So I would like to propose that to both sides, right? Yeah. To the person who's withdrawing and the friend. I'm like, hey man, if you just want to do like a smaller thing where it's just the inner core, like, why don't we just do that?
Yeah.
I think a lot of times that's what people need.
Mm. One other thing I wanted to talk about was like, you're not really trying to solve anything.
No. And we're not therapists, I want to say.
We're not?
Well, CFOs.
Right, we're CFOs.
No, but I'm saying some people are truly depressed and they need
Of
help
course.
and,
Then you
you
can
know,
call the number that
yeah.
Theo's going to give us at the end. But I'm saying if I hit you up, hey, I'm in a funk, lost my job, it's tough to go out. Your job is not going to like fix me.
No, but it would be nice if we go out and have a good time.
Yeah.
Just get you out of the house.
Yeah.
Do something you like to do. We could either do a low-key hang or we'll just like play hooky for the day and go take a little day trip.
Yeah. But I think also just like affirmations are good. Like, listen, you will get a new job. Always darkness for the dawn. Can I help?
Yeah.
Solving like, is anyone I can call?
Yeah. I think it is, affirmation also includes like sharing some of your own vulnerability.
Yeah.
Like, I think people feel better when you go, you know what?
I've been there.
Right? Like I actually, when I moved to LA, I didn't have a job and I just went through this real dark time. And that's why I'm hoping me sharing this and you sharing this, because we have these great friend circles, but like I spent years after I left this lucrative law job and feeling like embarrassed that I wasn't, on the same track. There's that track
right
with your friends and their money and they had families and kids. And I just felt like behind and then move out here and everybody here is already ahead. So now I'm like lost in between two worlds. So yeah, if this helps anybody listening, like I just think we all go through seasons in our life.
Yeah. I also like saying you're not alone.
Yeah.
Everyone experiences this. I've been through this.
Yeah.
There's one other like slightly subcategory of withdrawal that I want to mention, which is people with fertility issues. I've had this, heard about this a few times. Like one major example was like 10 years ago, friends of mine, they were going through fertility, and then another couple sort of in the group had kids. And then there was a sort of a falling out.
That gets difficult.
Yeah.
The other couple is not trying to rub it in your face.
No, of course not.
I know, but that's what it feels like.
Yeah. But these women, they had a falling out.
Really?
Yeah.
Over that.
And then the kid was born. Eventually they reconciled. But I mean, at our age, we have to be mindful of people. Even, I don't have kids.
Yeah.
Just being mindful of people going through that because it's so stressful. I can't even imagine it. Like it goes on for years, expensive.
Yes.
Stress. And it's very, sensitive.
You definitely hit the nail on the head of like things people want to withdraw about conversationally and just like in places where like, hey, everybody's having a baby boom and you're struggling with that. Oh, that'll definitely.
Yeah. Do you ever ask anyone, oh, you guys going to try? You trying?
Yeah. I walked into a grenade the other day.
Yeah.
Cause I'm trying to be mindful about don't just like solicit that stuff. There was a guy in my neighborhood with his daughter. And I was with Brenner and I'm just like chit-chatting, two men, and I said, oh, you're going to have another? Like, I just feel like you shouldn't say that because it's just like, you just open up a can of worms. And he was like, yeah, well, my wife and I already split when she was pregnant with the baby. It just was a bad situation. So I just don't know if the infrastructure is right for me to have a second kid. I'd love to have another kid. And I was like, oh my God, why didn't I just say cute girl? Love that bagel she's eating.
Right. But that's not fair because you could have been like, hey, let's get the wives together, and he'd be like, I have no wife.
Right.
And it could have anything.
No, it could have been anything, but it was funny.
That's funny when you go, hey, how you doing? They go, oh, fucking terrible. And I was just like fucking, joking, Yeah. No good deed.
He was like, yeah, and she's got custody. I got alimony.
He said that?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh man. Should we take a listener question?
Yes.
Asking for a friend.
All right, guys, this is Asking for a Friend. If you have a friendship question or an ethical dilemma, send it to us on Instagram, Man of the Year Podcast, and we'll answer on the show. Okay, we used to have Theo read the questions, but I'm taking it back. So I'm gonna read this question, and actually I don't like the beginning of it.
You're gonna cut it out or you're gonna keep it in?
No, it says, Dear Matt, Karo, and producer Theo.
I don't like this. Delete.
Dear Matt, Karo, and producer Theo, get out of here. I love the pod, but the time has come for my own Asking for a Friend question.
Wow. Why but? I love that. That's like not but.
Yeah, that's true. I recently made a life-changing decision to move across the country to be with an amazing guy. Great. However, since my arrival, I've quickly realized that I don't really gel with his friends or their significant others, which has left me feeling disconnected and uncertain about my decision. The situation has left me grappling with mixed emotions. On one hand, I don't want to isolate myself or create tension with my relationship by expressing my discontent. On the other hand, I can't help but feel a sense of longing for deeper connections and a support system outside of my romantic relationships. How can I navigate this delicate situation without jeopardizing my relationship? Is there a way for me to foster a sense of belonging with his friends and their significant others? Or should I focus on finding my own circle of friends who resonate with me on a personal level? Thank you guys so much.
Wow, I have so many thoughts, but my first one is Theo doesn't get to answer questions.
Yeah. If you send your ask your friend question to Theo,
oh my God,
you don't
he's
get
too
an answer.
young to know the answers to
yeah,
this.
he doesn't know anything.
He doesn't have any life
Great
knowledge.
question, by the way.
Yeah. I had a couple thoughts, and we
Yeah.
can let Theo chime in if
Yeah,
he has
yeah.
anything. If you think about it, if you have anything that you
Yeah.
actually think will add value, Theo, just be very careful.
Yeah.
One thing that just hit me. So you move across country for someone, it's a huge move, and you've made the decision that this is your person, and then you meet their friends and you're like, these aren't my people. I may want to go find my people. I think there's a lot of stuff happening before you can definitively say that. One thing that's happening is you feel like the outsider. These people have a lifetime of friendship. Like, I think it's only natural. So first off, I want to say what you're feeling is actually natural. I'm not dismissing it, but I'm saying I think almost anybody in that situation isn't automatically going to gel with like all of your significant other's friends because you're new. They don't even know you, and they have like shorthand and all this stuff.
I also always feel like that puts so much pressure. Like, that's a lot to ask somebody.
You mean to move across the country for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does put a lot of pressure on the relationship.
Yeah.
I agree.
Do you remember when...
I remember, yes.
I mean, this is when you were coming out of your blue period.
Oh boy.
That you did a packet for civilian friends. You do a packet. That's when you're like your writing samples for a late night show.
Did I get it?
You did a packet.
Did I get it?
For Jimmy Fallon.
I guess I didn't get it.
You did a packet with Jimmy Fallon. And Jess got so upset because it might mean you have to move to New York.
I did a great bit about it.
And I was like, slow down.
I did a great bit about it. The bit was about her having a meltdown, and I was like, relax. You don't even know if I'm going to get the job. Why don't we just chill out and enjoy what little time we have left together?
That's great. Meanwhile, there's like 10,000 packets.
No, I didn't.
There was no chance of
I
getting it.
did not get the job.
I do agree with your initial summation. You're by definition the outsider, so you shouldn't feel strange. You were going to go to something else.
But absolutely, our podcast is all about, specifically with regards to couples, you're still the CFO of your life, Chief Friendship Officer of your life. Even with your partner, you are the center of your universe. Your friends can be their friends and vice versa. You could have all the same friends, but you should make that choice. And if that doesn't fully serve you, you are fully within your rights to go out and find friends that are just yours, just for you.
I still think maybe they should, either way, you should have your own, one or two of your own friends.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just become a part of your significant other's
especially
friend
if you just move to a new place. I actually think going out and making a new friend early will take a lot of the pressure off.
Yeah. Do you think that there is any onus on we don't really know the reasons for the lack of chemistry. Do we think sometimes the existing friend group is maybe not welcoming, or they're just like, they're not gelling?
I think a couple
also, is this a red flag for the relationship?
Right. So I was going to get into that.
Yeah.
So I think a couple of things. I think sometimes your level of sensitivity is higher in this situation and people aren't as welcoming as you'd like them to be. Maybe they are. And
you should be rolling out the fucking red carpet.
I agree. I think the friends are not doing a good enough job. Just getting this question tells me like, maybe the friends aren't rolling out the red carpet enough, or they're just not your people, which is, then is that a red flag? Is that a red flag? I'm flipping it on you. Is that a red flag?
I think they can be your person, but I think it is a yellow flag because you can learn a lot about somebody by their friendships.
True.
I mean, if they're a bunch of weirdos or whatever, like, why is this guy friends with them?
Right.
But I'm not saying that will change your relationship. Also, friendships evolve. You'll come in and get rid of the riffraff and cycle in some new friends.
You can always do that.
You
throw out that old jersey.
So
you throw out that old friend.
Yeah.
The old jersey. Imagine you just like show up and they're like, yeah, this is my buddy Charles Manson.
Yeah.
That's what I thought when you said like a bunch of weirdos.
Yeah. A bunch of
just
hippies.
a cult.
Yeah.
But it could be a yellow flag. I agree with you. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's a red flag. Because we also didn't get any sense of like, why are they not your people? Is it interest based?
Right. But let me flip that. If a guy or a girl or anybody has a great group of friends, green flag.
Absolutely.
In fact, our friend Logan Urey wrote like one of the biggest red flags, like scientifically. I'm sorry, green flags is a person with childhood friends like us, because that displays a high level of loyalty.
Yeah.
So it can be a green flag, and I think if they have a bunch of weird friends, maybe a yellow flag. It depends. If they're like actively fucking shitheads, that's a problem.
Right. It doesn't
sounds
sound
like
like
they're
that's
just
what's
not
going
getting
on.
along.
But it also sounds like, it's early. It's early. I think it's a little too early to go, I'm never going to be close with any of these people. It's almost like a second wife.
Let's talk about the husband for a second, or spouse, whoever. Like, a lot of onus is on them.
Well, you have to communicate to them first. So a lot of onus is on our caller first.
But of course, your husband's not a mind reader. Your friends are mind readers.
Yeah.
But the husband.
Yeah. But it sounds like they're around and they're hanging out.
Right.
She said they're not my people, meaning
right.
She doesn't think activity wise or value wise or whatever.
Got it. You got to go rogue.
Got to go rogue. Got to go friends of friends.
Yeah.
Hey, I just moved to this new city. Who do you know?
Right. In
that city.
Because to your point, like sometimes you'll rest on your laurels and be like, okay, I have this ready-made friend group.
Right.
I don't need to make anybody.
I think that leads to a lot of dissatisfaction, actually.
Yeah. Well, you've been talking about this for months, that like guys need to be intentional if they're married.
I will not be trapped with Jesse's friends' husbands. I won't do it. I won't do it.
But I also think because of our fucking,
I'm kidding. I love you guys.
Our heteronormative society, women are, if a woman marries a man, they're much more likely to be absorbed into his friend group. Like our friend wives are all friends. You don't have you just said you don't even have the husband's numbers of Jesse's friends.
I got to check my phone.
Yeah. So just by definition, if you're a woman, you're swimming against the current in this situation.
Maybe.
Maybe. What do you mean maybe?
No, you're right. I'm saying you may be right.
Yeah. So you like, it's almost stranger. If you're living in a city and your significant other moves and she's a woman, it's almost like implied, okay, you're just going to be part of the group and you'll meet the wives.
Yeah. And so we're saying, don't accept that. Don't accept that stereotype.
Yeah.
Don't accept the gender norm.
Don't listen to me.
No, exactly. You're saying don't accept
the
the gender norm that a woman just has to integrate into the husband's crew, and that's that.
I mean, if anything, this is just more of a standard, I moved to a new city and I don't have friends situation.
Right. Just treat it.
Yeah.
Just take away the husband and friends equation. What if you just moved to this city by yourself?
Yeah. Then
treat it the same way.
Treat it the same way, which is, look at your work friends, friends of friends, third place, Bumble BFF.
Join a gym.
Yeah, all the normal things. We're not going to start naming third places again. Synagogue.
No, but I don't want to just talk about that. I do want to pull back to I think you have to give them more of a chance / try to be the friend with one or two of those people in that circle. If you feel like there's something you can latch onto of like, I feel like we should go do this thing.
So just explain a little bit when you mean be the friend. You mean proactively?
Yeah, I mean proactively.
Yeah.
Ask them to do something.
Yeah.
Ask one person in that group to do something. You have an extra ticket to this museum. Invite them out to that. Invite them to a coffee so you can actually get to know them. That's the other part. I don't think, and look, I'm just gonna say this to our call. I don't think you actually know all of them because you're probably seeing them in groups.
I was gonna say, or couples.
Right. So you haven't actually gotten the chance to engage on an individual level with a lot of these people when these situations arise. And so I think until you've done that, it is hard to say if these aren't my people, because as a mass, they're just this crew that knows each other so intimately and they're shorthand, and you're not getting to actually know these things about them that may actually really jive with you.
Jive or jibe?
Well, we went over this.
And lastly, I would say to the husband, if she follows all your advice, which I think is great, and is like, you know what, they're just like, they're going to be my acquaintances. We'll have dinner parties, but like, I need my own crew. And she articulates that to you. Like, that's okay.
Yes.
Like, I don't think you can be offensive.
100%.
Defensive?
Yeah. Defensive.
Yeah. So do we answer that?
I think the answer is give them a chance. Try to be the friend individually with them. Maybe it's a yellow flag. I don't think time will tell.
Yeah.
But treat it like you just moved alone.
And either way, it's healthy at some point in the medium term to be making friendships outside of your significant other.
And then in the interim, get some of your friends to fly out if you're feeling lonely.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Guys, that was Asking for a Friend. If you have a question, send to us on Instagram at Man of the Year Podcast.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah. So, Karo, what did we learn today?
We learned that if you are finding yourself withdrawing, you should know that the purpose of your friends is to be there for you in this time. And one hack/tip to let somebody know is just text them, I'm in a funk.
And your friends like you. It's not about whether you have money or a job. They like hanging out with you for you. Just remember that you have value.
Yeah. And if you're the friend who's being withdrawn from, just be mindful of what your buddy's going through and use your discretion when articulating that to the rest of the crew, and like bring him or her out. Like they want to see you.
Yeah. And also, if anybody is going through this right now, like message us. We're happy to chat with you. We're happy to talk that through. We're happy to talk more about it on the pod. We want to make sure everybody out there is feeling like they have the tools to, have a good, healthy social universe and friends. Everybody deserves that.
And if you're in a funk, you can message us on Instagram, Man of the Year Podcast, or just message Matt individually. He likes to chop it up. You'll probably get a terse reply from me and the 3 paragraphs from Matt. Theo, did we screw anything up? This is what we call Erroneous with Thelonious.
Yeah, so the first thing was Emily Post in her book, Etiquette.
Oh, wasted manners.
I didn't know.
Table
it's
manners
called,
is what he said.
What's the book called?
It's just called Etiquette.
And is there a colon table manners and something?
Not really, no.
Wow, I always thought it was Emily Post table manners. I think
it's
Emily
Etiquette.
Wow,
yeah.
Okay.
And her granddaughter has taken up the mantle. Like Emily Post
I didn't know that.
rules for Instagram or whatever. Emily Post Jr. or whatever.
And then additionally, we had the mental health hotline, which is 988.
Did not know that at all. I don't want you calling 311 with real struggles.
That may be low-key one of the funniest things you've ever said. If you're having a mental health crisis, call 311.
Yeah, and they'll pick up your extra chair.
Yes, but 988 is actually new. I think it's in the past year.
Good.
Please take advantage if you're in a crisis. And that's our show. Guys, be good to yourself. Be good to your friends.
Love you, buddy.